not believe what is happening on this chart right now. Have the bigot bulls lost complete control of this uptrend? Or in fact, while everyone on planet Girth is calling for a bull trap, are we about to see a massive bear trap? I'm about to show you top secret evidence that no one can deny. So buckle in, strap on, and grab your favorite juice, because this is big. I'm your host, Spitz Gogglesworth, and Bitcoin and Ethereum are right now doing something we've spent the last few videos talking about. But what if I told you that this is exactly the trap that they want you to get stuck in? Turn these absolute time-sensitive alerts. Take advantage of over $16,000 in trading bonuses below using the links specifically for US traders, BITGET, and as well for an additional 15% off trading fees and a free $20 by signing up with that BITGET link specifically for a limited time. Make sure to take advantage of that as well. And without any further ado, let's Magoo. Wow, are we right now starting to see Bitcoin begin to play out this bearish divergence on these shorter time frames? Or in fact, is something much bigger going on? So before we jump into all of these different charts here, there are two things that I want to talk about. So I think it's very important to get the sentiment of the space in check right now, because what has happened over the last 10 months? Okay, over the last 10 months, Bitcoin has gotten completely decimated and dumped on, and every single time there seemed to be a chance that Bitcoin might pump, it did not, okay? And that is perfectly illustrated basically on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. You can see that here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Here, and then ever since November, it's just been dump after dump after dump after dump, right? So what happened? Well, everybody in these markets, especially people that have not been through an entire cycle, especially those people, and including even people that have, everybody has learned to not accept that there might be a pump, because it will only be followed with a dump, because that's all that exists in their recent memory. People have been conditioned to believe that a pump will always just be a fake out, right? And that's what we've seen. And along with that, people have also been convinced and conditioned to believe that there is zero chance that Bitcoin can bottom unless it goes back to like 15 or 10K or something, right? Most people, and this is completely evidenced by the fact that, you know, go on any social media. We spent months and months in extreme fear, right? People were completely dumped on. And most people, the majority of people, believe that it's basically impossible that Bitcoin is bottomed until we go back to 15K, until we go back to 10K, maybe even lower per Bitcoin. Now, what is one of the results of that? Well, a lot of people, with that thinking in mind, a lot of people sold when Bitcoin was at 20K. Maybe they sold when Bitcoin jumped up to 23 or 24K over the past few weeks, because they expect to buy in a lot lower, because they've been told by everybody and reinforced the belief that we're about to have a giant bull trap and we are going to go to 15K, we are going to go to 10K. Here's the thing, maybe we will. I'm not saying that we won't, but all I'm saying is most people, okay, most people believe that's the case. And they have believed that's the case for months and months now. And one of the things I'm saying here is that that is the perfect fuel to make a very strong reversal reality and to not get a bull trap, in fact, to get a bear trap. And additionally, what I'm saying is the reason that everybody is so angry, because if you go on Twitter, if you go on YouTube, right, if you say Bitcoin's about to get bullish, everyone will say, no, you're crazy, bull trap coming, we're going back to 15K, we're going down to 10K. The reason they're doing that is, again, most likely because they sold and they're waiting to buy in lower. But if anything, that should just give you, if you're being contrarian, that should give you a lot of confidence that, wow, maybe this rally could go much higher than I expect, because people are just absolutely in denial about it, in disbelief about it. This is exactly the type of sentiment you want to see when we actually do get pumps, when we do see these reversals. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking, wrong, bull trap coming, we're going to 10, we're going to 15K, yes, maybe that's possible. But before you regurgitate that same exact thing that everybody on the planet is regurgitating, maybe think about it for a second that, you know, maybe we won't. And maybe for the past few weeks, we've begun this reversal and you've maybe missed out on catching the bottom. As every indicator on the planet is telling us, again, the sentiment is still, overall, it's pretty bearish. And every time that Bitcoin drops 0.2%, the reason you see people in the comments saying, see, I told you it's a bull trap, is because they're desperately holding on for hope that, that it is a bull trap. Does that make it more likely that it is a bull trap? No, in fact, the opposite. It's a long way of saying the sentiment around the last 10 months and the sentiment around the last few weeks in particular is exactly the sentiment you see when we actually have put in a bottom and we are reversing to the upside. So again, there are a million other factors. You cannot base analysis simply on the sentiment of how people in the market feel, because that is very tangible, though. It is very real and obvious at this point. However, you can't base analysis just on that. There are a million other things you have to factor in as well. But all I'm saying from that is basically this sentiment. This is exactly what I want to see if I expect, if I expect and I want to see Bitcoin continue to explode past 30K over the next few weeks and months. Right now, the disbelief that I see in the comments, the disbelief I see everywhere on social media is exactly what I saw back in 2018 and previous bottoms as well. So with that being said, again, before we get into these charts, it is worth noting that the funding rate, every time it has dipped into this territory here, we have seen price moves to the upside, and we recently actually just got a dump as the funding rate, as it recently just kind of went over a hurdle there. So that's one thing I think worth noting. And as well, in terms of contrarian indicators, Jim Cramer recently got bullish on ETH, which is not good. However, Peter Sniff is incredibly mega bearish. And I don't know. You're basically just, this is what you would draw if you tried to make the most bearish chart possible without any regard for like technical analysis or whatever. He even took it off logarithmic just so it looks like a more steep, looks like it's going to plummet into oblivion. So this Peter Schiff's post here was designed with fear, FUD, and trying to get people to believe Bitcoin is going straight down as the only thing in mind. Right? Not with objectivity and not with a lack of bias. This is pure only bias, right? Now, I'm not saying that I'm never biased, but at this point, again, I fully believe that there are just too many signs to indicate that we're going to go higher. And over the past few weeks, again, I literally put my money into that as well. I've been in long positions since basically the bottom. I talked about that in yesterday's video, and I don't want to keep repeating the same thing. But again, are we seeing the beginning of a short-term pullback? I'm not super convinced yet, and there are a few reasons for this. So one, the stock market is rallying today. And if you take a look here, we've broken back above the 21-week moving average for the first time after getting rejected back in March. And this is good. We were holding on to it the entire bull run. We fell below it, got rejected, and that initiated a mega dump, right? So that, again, a very good indicator. Very good. This was very important. We got rejected here, and we dumped very low. Now, we've gone up to the upside, and we've broken above it. This is our second green candle above this so far, so that's good. We see momentum swinging to the upside on the SPX. As well, we got like a double bottom on the RSI here. Good. The reason I'm talking about this is because if this is healthy, then Bitcoin is healthy. Traditionally or historically, and as well, very strong momentum here on the MACD. So the stock market looks good. One thing though, however, is that the DXY is making a little move to the upside today, and this is the range we have to watch. So until we breach below this support, this would indicate massive bearishness. And if we break and set a higher high instead of lower high like we've been setting here, then that could potentially indicate that we might be back on the way up. However, for us to do that, we would basically need to get up to 107. Right now we're at 106.3. So we've had a pump for the last few days, not enough to be anything special yet. This is the indecision zone. This doesn't matter as long as it's in here. If it gets above this is bearish for Bitcoin, bullish for the DXY. Goes below it, it's bearish for the DXY, bullish for Bitcoin. And just like we talked about yesterday, we have these pumps and then we have a pullback for a week. Pump, pullback for a weck. Pump. Now, would it be crazy to get a pullback for a week? No. Just like I tweeted about yesterday, and I talked about this in yesterday's video as well, if we get a pullback down to back to the $1,700 range, people are going to get so bearish. But in my opinion, that's what I think is more likely. I said that the entire last video. So that's my opinion. And so far, that looks as though that's, absolutely fine and possible. So again, every time Bitcoin drops a couple dollars, you're going to see bears saying that they were proven in their hypothesis that Bitcoin is going back down to 10K, but they've been saying that for the past few weeks, remember? Now, the thing is, the trend has signaled a change, so that's the only important thing here. The trend has shown to start reversing, and that is the exact thing that we have to follow until it stops doing that. And I can tell you one thing, if Bitcoin goes to 22,000, that is not a confirmation the trend has reversed. We need something much more drastic and prolonged than that. So, don't get too excited if Bitcoin dumps a little bit, if you're very bearish, but also don't get too excited if Bitcoin pumps a little bit, because even though we are setting higher highs here, 25,000 so far has proven to be pretty hard to get above. So absolutely, it's worth keeping in mind that basically right now, nothing has happened. This is total indecision. I personally expect that You know, if we get a pullback, it could go a significant amount lower, down to the $22,000 range for Bitcoin, even down to the $1,700 range for ETH, and then we could resume the uptrend. It would be totally fine. It would not be bearish. It would be healthy consolidation, just like you see on every single chart. New channel, like, share, turn, let's go. Notification service is absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Take advantage of over $16,000 in trading bonuses below. Specifically for US traders, the BITGET link in the comments and description to receive also an additional 15% off trading fees for a limited time and a $20 sign-up bonus, in addition to the deposit bonuses of up to $8,000 with that link below. Without any further ado,